Okay, so Gary,
Yeah.
what I thought would be really important today to cover is about the way we can all be in like we're suddenly okay, and then suddenly we're not.
Yeah.
And you and I have both just been at a big conference,
Yeah.
and many people just all over the world, they go to conferences, they go to meetings, they are at family gatherings, they are doing life, yeah.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they feel a little bit lost, they can't participate, they can't hear because maybe their hearing's going, they forget their way, they leave half the things in their say that their hotel room that they needed during a talk. They're in a talk, they're doing a presentation, and they forget what they're about to say. Now, is that nerves, or does it suddenly, at what point is that, do we start realizing, oh my goodness, there's a cognitive disorder here?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is really important for us to talk about, because this will happen to our colleagues.
Yeah.
It could happen to us. We don't know. Uh, and I think so. So let's explore this as a really good discussion about how we can watch out for our colleagues, how we can help people, what we can do to look after ourselves, and just notice what we notice as we have a really big discussion on this, because I think it's scary, you know.
Oh
we,
yeah. Yeah.
we've seen some of our own colleagues decline anyway, um,
Mm-hmm.
and have certain illnesses, whether it be cancer or something else. And I think we need to realize that yeah, this needs to be out in the open and not just something that we do not discuss.
Yeah.
Who wants to discuss it? Who wants to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who wants to talk about oh, what happens if we get to, dementia? We do in a presentation, we
Mm-hmm.
do on something like this, but not when we're having a good time,
Yeah.
when we're, because it's like, so people get quiet about it, they don't want to share. And so I'm gonna let you, take over and see what do you say about that?
Yeah. I would say that yes, we don't tend to talk about it. It's not the sort of thing I tend to talk about, I must admit, or even try to think about, let alone talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just put it off. You don't. I guess it's this sort of ignorance is bliss. It's not going to happen to you, and you put it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that sort of thing doesn't happen to me. I'm
Yeah.
invincible. That will never happen. And yet, you know, it it does. And
Yeah.
and it's can be pretty scary, you know.
Hmm.
And it's interesting. This year at say Hypnothoughts, they actually provided a really good thing. They provided that breakfast in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. I managed it once.
Well, that was a good thing,
Yeah.
because that meant that people were had a good start to their day. They had
Yeah.
enough food in them, enough energy, and it meant people could have those connections, because that is what can be lost for some
Hmm.
people if they are having a starting with a neurocognitive disorder, is the connections.
Yeah.
The thing is, it was very obviously, because people's voices very noisy, and I don't know if anybody who can be like me, if there's a lot of noise, I can't hear properly.
Right.
It's like there's so much background noise, so I really have to get close into somebody
Yeah,
to hear them.
it's interesting that way. It does affect people with certain traits. I was actually talking the other night in the pub, strangely enough, and I've got a friend of mine who struggles the same thing, and he said that he thinks he's very, very slightly autistic, and I believe that's a trait in that way. He's actually an airline pilot, but he said that, you know, when it's in a very loud environment, there's lots of people talking, he struggles to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and he put it down to that because it's a known thing apparently.
For in autism,
Mm,
and I mean, and it may well be. I think we're all on the spectrum, to be honest.
mm,
Uh, I mean, I know that if there's dancing, lots of really loud disco music, and people are, oh, there was that bar, wasn't there? Do you remember it went in there and it was like, well, I can't hear anybody talking. All I could
mm,
do would be to dance,
yeah,
and that's it. And smile at people, because there's no way I could have a conversation. I just wouldn't be able to hear it.
yeah.
So it's that sort of thing. Now, I mean, that doesn't mean I've got a neurocognitive disorder. However, it could be an added thing onto somebody else who has, and they can find it more difficult to join in, more difficult, because it can be very lonely,
Mm,
very lonely, and people can be and it's like, if you can't carry a conversation with people, so say you're in a group and it's just like, oh no, you sat there going and that's what people do with who have a
mhm,
neurocognitive disorder. They just might sit there and find it difficult to join in because they can't put the threads together.
mm,
They can't join in, and it's and it can become very lonely for them. So what can we do? What can other people around them do to help and support?
mm. Well, again, well, I guess it's getting them involved in some ways. I mean, it might not be that they've got the cognitive things. It might be they're just socially shy or whatever. A bit like me, you know.
You're very shy.
Bizarrely, I think when I'm around people I know, I'm not at all. But you know, if I
No,
walk
I was
into
only
a strange,
joking.
no, but if I walk into a strange bar, for example, you know, I'd wait for people to talk to me rather than me talk to somebody.
Okay. Okay,
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, no, I tend to be pretty shy and sort of insular unless I know people or I'm in a role of some kind. I mean, that's the other strange thing is something I learnt sort of when I was doing music. I did part-time music college studies as a mature adult, sort of production, vocals, and all sorts of other stuff, performance and things. And one of the things that I learnt there is, if you like, is role playing, acting. So, for example, if when I'm playing in a band, if I'm playing bass, again, I think I'm really shy and I get really worked up when I'm setting my gear up and all the rest of it. You know, get really nervous and stage fright. But I have a particular set of clothes that I wear, and once I've set everything up, I get into that set of clothes, and now I'm role playing. So I then do have the confidence because I'm now playing that role. Particularly when I did vocals and performance, that's really frightening. And it was the same thing, but I have a different set of clothes to do vocals and performance.
And you are quite right there. So that's another thing, isn't it? Isn't that interesting? How and you have your suit that you put on
Yeah, again,
when
because
you are
I'm
presenting.
when I'm presenting, because I'm now in professional presenter, you know, academic mode, if you like.
Yeah, yeah. And you're quite right. So I wonder if there is something around that for again, we can invite our colleagues to do, because that's an anchor
Mm,
into
absolutely.
into that ego state, if you like,
Yeah.
presenter ego state, that rock, that band, that rock ego state. So it's true. I had my
Hmm.
presentation outfits, as you
Yeah.
saw, and then I had my other ones, and there was some nighttime outfits, and it was just like lots of different ego states that we step into,
Hmm.
and so this is really interesting. So let's explore this
Hmm.
around somebody living with dementia. I wonder if there are certain colors, shirts, outfits, whatever, that will anchor them in to a different state. I bet there is.
May well be. Yeah. Well, there
I
must. There,
bet there is.
I don't know of any research or anything on it, but there could well be.
No, it's there's better because it's the feeling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it is.
Yeah. I
It's a
think.
feeling you get.
Yeah. I think it's a feeling of confidence and things. And I mean, and it's interesting for me, but you know, even if you ignoring the presenter stuff, but looking at the rock stuff, difference between a bass player and a vocalist, completely
Mm-hmm.
different animals, which is why I have a completely different set of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But once and I don't do it very often, but like vocal clothes, for example, if I dress as the vocalist, then you know, to me, I'm quite outrageous. It's sort of things that I wouldn't do, you know, but suddenly this person, you know, who's the front person would, you know, which is quite strange.
Well, it's so true
Hmm.
because it's like as soon as I put the bunny ears on,
Yeah.
everybody knew who I was.
Yeah, 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 and that's the thing. I mean, and the only reason I actually did that side of it, interestingly enough, was when I first got into when I first got into hypnotherapy. I felt a bit of a fraud because there was you know, I thought, well, I've got to get rid of all my fears and phobias, and I had two. One was heights, and the other one, believe it or not, was public speaking.
Ah,
And I respond very well to the flooding technique. So I'll do
so do
some,
I. I flood
yeah,
myself. Yeah.
yeah. So to get over the height issue, I did a bungee jump and a free fall parachute jump. That sorted that. And then on the public speaking again, I thought, what is the most frightening thing in that area that I can think of? And I thought singing in front of somebody would be far more frightening than speaking. Particularly as I didn't think I could sing, and I don't mean as a choir. I mean as a solo person in front of people. To me, that would be the ultimate fear. And so I went to, and it's gone full circle because I've actually lectured there now on performance anxiety. But we've got an Academy of Contemporary Music about 12 miles in Guildford from us that's well known, and a few rock stars have actually come through there. And I went to them and said, oh, you know, I'm interested. Do you do singing lessons? They said, yeah, everybody can sing, you know, blah blah blah. And they said you need to learn some techniques, and so I did that. And then I explained what I wanted it for, and they said, oh, we've got just the course for you. And if they'd have told me the things I'd have done on this course when I signed up, I'd have laughed and said, no way on earth am I going to do any of that. I mean, they made us do things like sing a cappella in front of the class, and I cannot sing at all without some sort of backing. I need something to pitch to. I haven't got perfect pitch. Then they made us sort of, again, in front of the class, they played some backing music and they gave you 4 lines of lyrics and you had to do a whole song. So you had to ad lib it as you went and do it. And then sort of three things. They gradually really up the ante. They made it, we used to have what they called rehearsal suite, and it was a room with a stage. All the other students would come into it, so you might have a couple of hundred people, or sort of at least 100. And you'd go in there, there would be stage, PA, lights, so almost like a small theatre setup. And they'd make us do things in there. You know, you would learn a song a week, and then the other musicians would do it, and you'd come in and perform it. But then they really put the pressure on. For example, once we had an X Factor type thing, or America's Got Talent type thing, where they made you over the term, they made you learn, I think it was about 12 or 15 songs. And then they actually had a panel there, and it was actually a record producer, a magazine editor, and a producer, and something else. And you got a backing band, and they called you in onto the stage. And when you got to the microphone, they then told you what you were going to perform, so you didn't know in advance. And they were really naughty because it was our lecturers, and they knew which ones you were weakest with, and they would always pick that one, which was quite nasty. And then the other thing that I thought was the most interesting one was that they said, let's imagine you're doing a corporate function. And they said, it's half time. The chairman's wife has come up and said her favourite song is such and such. Will you play it for her? They said the guitarist knows it. He played it in another band. It's basic drumming, so the others can get away with it. You're the one that doesn't know it as the vocalist. They said, right, as it's a corporate do, we've got to be professional. But they said, oh, the guitarist happens to have the CD of it in his car. So we're going to give you 10 minutes to go away and listen to the CD. And then we're going to take any notes away from you because it's a corporate do and you're going to perform it. And that's quite a pressure situation, but it's surprising there's little tips and things you can do. But then what they actually did for what they laughingly called the graduation was and they did it in packages. But I had to learn, it was something like about 35 minutes of material as a vocalist. And they gave me a backing band, and they sold out the local theatre, and I had to perform as a vocalist with my band at a sold out theatre.
And you did it.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. And so you know that stepping into that role
Yeah.
helped you, and you
Yeah,
flood
I
yourself
had certain outfits, certain clothes, and I
certain
used
outfits.
yeah,
So imagine doing all of that. So waking up every morning, we get up, we get dressed, we get
yeah,
up. Maybe you put on some exercise stuff to do that. But imagine if you've forgotten what to wear,
yeah.
or because of time, because of exhaustion, it's literally you're in your pajamas all day long.
Mm.
What happens then? How do you feel if you're ever in your I can't do it, to be honest, but
Well,
kids do.
I don't wear them, so I have to
No, no,
I
no,
have to put some
but
clothes on.
people do. All right,
Yeah.
the kids, there's kids here, there's adults here, they go out in their pajama bottoms. I wonder where they're at in their head, in their ego state.
Well, we have some here, and I mean they'll go out in sort of like sweatpants and whatever, and things that they will tend to wear to bed. I mean, we call them chavs here or whatever. They're just very lazy and chavvy, and they go out like that because that's how they are.
Yeah. So imagine that, say you have been somebody who did get changed
Mm,
Sunday best for church.
mm.
People did that, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they still do. They put on their Sunday best for church. And then it's like, and then however you start to get, and then you just, because you forget, or you just can't go, or you can't get there, or whatever. And so your clothes will really start to change how you actually
Mm,
feel and present to the world. So it's a really good point that you said that, Gary,
mm,
about your clothes. Really important for anybody who is helping people, the caregiver, to actually just acknowledge what is the person who is living with dementia wearing,
mm,
because how will it make them feel? And we always want people to feel their best.
mm,
And if in bedroom clothes, you will very, very rarely ever, if ever, see me, and I think you've got a grey top on there, but you'll never see me wearing grey. Is it grey or blue?
It is actually grey.
You'll never see me wearing grey, because for me, I don't like it. I like it
Yeah.
on other people. It's just, I don't know, it just makes me feel
Mm.
glum for
Yeah,
me.
I put it on actually to do this and my other one because I just had a t-shirt on and I thought at least I'll have something with a collar and
Yeah, no, I mean,
something neutral that's not going to clash with the background.
I have a lot of friends who wear grey and it looks really good on them. I personally just don't wear it, just doesn't suit my personality. And I have had it in the past. And then I realized that, I never felt happy in it, never felt really good in it. I might have looked okay, but I never felt good. And that's the thing. It's how we feel. How do you feel?
Mm,
Because in my opinion, I think that is just vitally important. Do you feel, down or vibrant? And actually, I'm wearing red. It's a bit of a burnt orange, actually, but burnt orangey red. But apparently, red is not a good color for people living with dementia.
Right.
I'm going to have an issue with that personally because I like red. However, there has been some studies on it that red can mean stop, red can mean danger, and
That's
so
true.
people
Yeah. Yeah.
don't it can be a wary color for some people. Again, I a bit on the fence of that because a lot of there's you got a lot of football teams that are red. You've got the Gunners, you've got Manchester United, their colours are red. So to them, it could be, people who support that
Mm.
football soccer team, then they will like it. You know,
Yeah.
for me, it's an uplifting colour. There you go, purple. You've got my Branco, we've got my Brancolas. I'm wearing one, and you've got
Yeah.
one behind you. Purple and it's so because to me it means courage, challenge, get going, excitement, love, so many different compassion, so those two colors. So yeah, it's quite interesting, cut just how what we
Mm.
wear can make us feel. And like I say, when we go to so maybe for us, if we're watching out for colleagues, notice if their style of clothing changes. You know,
Mhm.
so many of our people wear bright clothes. The shirts, the men, they often wear,
Yeah. Yeah. But
in
then some don't. I mean, you had, was it the famous example was Steve Jobs of Apple that just had the black turtleneck and jeans every day.
and then what would happen if it suddenly changed and he was wearing
Yeah.
pajamas?
Oh yeah.
Then we would know something was different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, and or again, if people are getting lost, can't find their way to the meeting rooms,
Hmm.
find they're in the wrong room watching a presentation. Actually, I think that can happen anyway. There were so many at Hypnothoughts. I don't know how many rooms there were, but it was a lot.
I think there was 11. I think at at the time, something like that. But I'm
Yeah,
sure it's about 11.
it's a lot of presentations to choose from. So it can be really difficult. It's so yeah, but it's just about being more aware, just noticing if
Mm.
somebody's not eating as much, if they've forgotten. I think we've said this before, if they've forgotten how to eat,
Mm.
they have to. That's why the whole thing about the community of the breakfast thing was that actually people
Mm.
are eating, even if they're using their fingers. People could, oh yes, that's how I eat.
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah. I mean, I did it once, but I mean, I'm just not a breakfast person. So I just generally I don't have breakfast. I might have a yogurt drink and a fruit juice. That's it.
yeah,
That's
missed out. It was
yeah,
really good fun. It was a nice way to connect. Actually, I almost wish
yeah,
I'd got there earlier each day, because the rooms were packed. But I think it was a great way, and I know they did it afterwards as well for the post conference.
yeah. I didn't know that until after the last one was done. They said, oh yeah, it's still happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you could have got yeah. I mean, I think it's a
Yeah.
really nice
Not
idea.
not that I ate very much there because of the heat anyway. I mean, I bought stuff for my room and I ended up bringing most of it in my suitcase
Did
back to
you
the UK.
bring
Yeah,
it back?
yeah.
So it's so again, like I say, what can we do to make sure that people stay hydrated? They did have a lot. Again, it was good actually. They were giving out water a lot at the bars. uh
Yeah, I mean, that's about the one thing the hotel are good at is yeah, it's always free. If you need water, you just ask at the bar and
yeah,
do
the
it.
only thing that wasn't was the the two of the parties, you had to buy it, a bottle. But
Yeah, and what was a rip-off there as well, I noticed, because the beer was extortionate as well there, and they were only in cans or bottles, and I mean it was $14 for a baby can, and when I looked at the receipt, it was $2.40 service charge, include
oh
including.
oh
So I'm
No,
thinking, and he didn't even open the can. I'm thinking, so basically you're picking up a can from behind you and give it to me, and you're charging me $2.40 for the privilege.
yeah, yeah. No, it's not helpful, you know, when they do that. But at the bar downstairs, they were giving out water like every, and
Yeah, the bar downstairs was a lot cheaper anyway. I mean, it still
yeah,
was
I
expensive.
actually took water with me to those other parties in my
All right.
bag
Yeah.
because I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna, pay ridiculous amounts
No.
for
Yeah, we also found a dodgy bar across the road that we went to a couple of times, where completely different, because a small can of beer was, as I said, was $14 at the pool
it.
party,
Hotel.
and the other thing, and we found a dodgy little sports bar, come all sorts of things bar, across the road, where you could get four alcoholic drinks or four beers for $14. So
Oh,
a very big
see,
difference.
right, yeah. Go there for a bit and then come back over and just
Yeah.
yeah. It's but again, that's another thing, it's just watching what people are drinking, what they're, whether they're eating right, and just notice if they're involved in what's going on.
Mm,
And are our colleagues still cognitively there? And what can we do to support them? It's and it could just be that camaraderie, just sitting with them.
yeah.
Or I'm going to this lecture. Would you like to come with me? I'm do, and reminding them where things are, because it's or I suppose what will happen is some people, they just don't go anymore
Mm,
because of the flying and it's just all too scary.
yeah,
Uh,
that's probably more likely.
they just
Isn't
won't
it? But,
go.
mm,
Yeah, and that can be yeah, it's sad, just some people just stop.
yeah,
Um, and so that's where we can also check in on people. How are you doing?
yeah.
Are you okay? Haven't seen you for a while. And it's just that friendly, that somebody's there. So I think that's so we can start just if people have the awareness
Hmm.
just from this, just start looking out, and then they don't start seeing people, then we can check in on people.
Yeah,
How are you? Miss seeing you. And again, there's not necessarily much we can do apart from just show that you care.
yeah,
And yeah, of course, then it's always up to family members. We hope, if people have family
yeah, yeah.
to look after them. Some people, our hypnosis community is family,
Mm,
and that's it. And that's why it's really important that we all have this kind of awareness of, oh, okay, and so what can I do? What can I do to help people? Because there's enough of us that we're all closer to certain different people. you know there's
yeah.
people have lots of their little groups, because I couldn't possibly sort of look after everybody. There's like thousands, so, and I don't know everybody by all means, and not everybody
Oh, no,
knows
no.
me.
No, and again, I mean, we were trying to get new people involved, which we did, but yeah, generally you tend to have little groups. So, I mean, I had my sort of typical group that I used to go out with in the evenings. So,
Yeah, and
um,
just check in. Well, how are you doing? Are you okay? What do you
yeah.
need?
With my group, what do you need? It was normally alcohol.
Yes, well, we know that. We know
And
that.
occasionally cigars in the case of a couple of them.
Did you have a couple of cigars?
I
Oh
didn't.
my
No, I don't. No,
goodness.
I don't smoke.
No, oh, some of them had a few cigars. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I,
no. A
I
couple
still
of
got
people.
Vegas voice.
Yeah, no. A couple wanted to go to the cigar bars quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that just the whole area, it can just do your throat
Oh, yeah,
muscles just being in
yeah.
it because there is so much smoke around, or dry air, I think, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
I think it's a very dry air to start with, and I'm not sure that the air conditioning helps that side of it particularly either.
Oh, and on all night. I think
Yeah.
it's I think actually that's probably what does it. really. But hey ho. So yeah, so it is about us being aware what we can, just noticing what we notice, and that's why I think always being really curious and wondering what else is going on for somebody else. If somebody is looking confused, just out of sorts, just checking in. Are you okay? Are you okay? Can I take your bag for you? Can I do this? It's like what it actually ultimately it goes down to being kind, being kind always, and always realizing that there is always something going on for somebody else, and it's not always just about us. Occasionally it is, because there might be something really heavy going on for us, and if we're cognitively there, then hopefully we know that we can go to a friend and go, help. It's however, if somebody is having a cognitive issue, people won't want them. They'll shut down, probably, possibly. I don't know.
That happens very much with cancer patients.
Mhm.
It's something I found in my own research when I was doing my research, that social functioning is an area that gets hit very much so. And even with when I was doing the groups with the hypnosis, that was the only area that didn't improve for pre and post surgical hypnosis, was the social functioning, because people don't know how to, and it's one of the things that I talk about on my training, is people don't know how to socially interact with a cancer patient. They're frightened of upsetting them and things like that, because it's this big dreaded word, same as dementia. They're worried about what they're going to say, or I don't want to say something that might upset them, and this sort of thing. And I always say to people in my training, I say, well, look, they're still exactly the same person. If you knew somebody and they had a broken leg, that hasn't affected them. They're the same person with a broken leg. In this case, it's the same person with cancer. So if they've got a vicious sense of humour, they've still got a vicious sense of humour. If they like these particular things, they still like those particular things. It's just that they've had to make some lifestyle changes in relation to what is required, the same as you would if you had a broken leg.
Yeah, yeah. And that's exactly the same as we've been discussing with a person living with dementia. They're exactly the same person. And we bring back the person's personhood. We make that bit big again. So the cancer is small, the dementia is small. Let me just get my pen and paper. Hang on. So what happens again, as you have just said. So really, really good reminder, Gary. Because at the moment, this is what's happening, is you've got the big C or the big D, whichever one you want. You've got anxiety big, got fear big, and the person is really little.
Yeah.
And what we really want is this bit, is that the person is really big, the fear is little, the anxiety is little, and the C or the D is really little as well. So when you go and see somebody, anybody, whether it be cancer or dementia or a cognitive disorder or any kind of anything, is remember who they are. They have other family, they have interests, they have hobbies, they have whatever, they have animals. It's like there's always something to talk about. There's no need to be afraid. You're right, people are.
Yeah, a lot of people are. A lot of cancer patients, I see, it is a normal thing that, the sort of the neighbours stop. So I don't see the neighbour as much now. It's almost as though they're frightened to talk to me, and it is. People tend to be frightened to talk to a cancer
In
patient.
case it's like it's catching, like it's a disease.
Yeah, well, it's more that they don't want to upset them, and they think they don't know what to say. Is the daft thing. But everybody
Somebody's
says it.
died near them.
Yeah, I mean, and it's well, what to say and what to do. I mean, that's another reason that I started my training was because I had because I'd got done the research and things into that area and sort of talked on it a lot. I was getting phone calls from hypnotherapists who were very well trained, very experienced, very good, but suddenly somebody close to them was diagnosed with cancer, and they said, "Oh, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do?" And I think, well, you're experienced enough to know what to do, and and all the rest of it. But suddenly they fall apart and they don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, interesting, isn't it?
mm,
It's so hey, you get in touch with them and you say, I love you.
yeah,
You know, what do you need? What
yeah,
can I do? Do you need a
yeah,
recording?
and that is actually the first thing that I say to a lot of people that I'm training, and even now I get so many people saying, "Oh, I've got such and such who's been diagnosed with cancer. What can I do for them with hypnotherapy?" And I always say, well, it's going to sound a very trite answer, but I say, go and ask them what they would like you to help them with hypnotherapy.
Yeah, yeah. What do they need?
Yeah,
Yeah. Do they need a relaxation recording? Do they need um, just a healing globe? Do they need time distortion? Do they need control room? What do they need?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Sleep. It's like pain control. What do they need?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, and we are all capable of doing it. The gate control
yeah.
theory
Yeah,
is so useful, setting up little gates
yeah,
in
which has
your
actually
mind.
which has reminded me I need to contact somebody because there was somebody who we both know that didn't make the conference due to cancer treatment, and I did say I'd contact her when I get back and I'd do a session with her.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm seeing her next weekend. We're sharing a
Oh,
room,
okay, cool,
and
cool.
Christadora.
Yeah,
So yeah, all three of us, Beryl's babes in one room.
right.
So it'll be fun. Probably exhausting, but it'll be fun. So good, yeah, exactly. And it's it's and that again is our colleague, you
Yeah,
see, our colleague. We have to be there for our colleagues, and what can we do? So again, this whole thing of some of our and actually it is sad because I know that some people have said, I've seen it online, and I haven't known these people because I just haven't known them, but people have said, oh, they're not coming anymore because they've got dementia, or this has happened, and yeah, they just don't come anymore. It's because they can't get there. It's
mm,
like, and so therefore, a whole big community that somebody once joined and loved and was loved, that whole bit of like a has gone.
mm,
And it's like, I wonder how we as a community can make that different. So I wonder what we could do if somebody gets a neurocognitive disorder. They can't say necessarily travel, but how can they still feel as though they belong?
mm, mm.
Oh,
No, that's
so
a good
now
point.
I've got, yeah, you can see my head whirring, can't you? I think that's really important
Mm,
that we put that out there to our community, and that if anybody who does that, then actually they're still able, say, to get maybe the recordings
yeah,
um, from a conference, so that they still feel, even if they don't listen to them,
hmm,
but they're included somehow. Not that I'm a conference. I don't make the conferences, and that would have to go to the the people who do. But I think that would be I think that would be a great gift, um,
mm,
that people could, so because just say we don't know who that could happen to, but then they still feel as though they belong.
yeah, yeah,
um it's because just missing faces, you know because when you're learning, you see, Because when somebody's still learning or repeating learning something that they know, their brain synapses are going, Gary.
Mm.
And so then that's a good thing, you see, because then that keeps, because although our brain synapses, we're losing them all the time, I think, from the age of 50,
Mm.
but you can grow more. So if they are invited to learn something or reminded what they know already, but in a different way, then that will keep building the brain synapses.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a really good idea for anybody in our community if they ever get a neurocognitive disorder, is to actually tell somebody of a conference and just say, I think that's a really nice idea. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. Whether you'll get any mileage out of it, because of the money side, is another matter.
Well, they've got the recordings.
Yeah.
They're there. They're there. You
Oh
know,
yeah, they are.
they're
Yeah.
sending them out to somebody who's given them I don't know, however much, 300, $400, $500. It's like they just send it out to somebody who can't make it because they're got dementia. So it's like it's so that person has probably given a lot over the years.
Yeah.
It's just called giving.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And when you
absolutely.
give, you get, because it's called the ebb and flow of life. Money comes, money goes, breathing comes, breathing goes, everything comes and goes. It's like this. So I've but like I say, not that I'm a person who organizes these things, but I do know um uh somebody who does, and I think that would be a pretty awesome thing to just put
Mm.
out there, that if any of our community have and cannot make these anymore, please get in touch and we will send you the recordings for free, because we
Mm.
know that it will make a difference to your life.
Yeah.
Because it would. And I don't know how long they'd be able to listen to it depends on the type of dementia,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it would keep them happy. It would keep them back in that bit person
Mm.
for a lot longer than it would anything else. Okay,
Mm.
so that has sown a little seed in my head.
There
Um,
you go.
that one that I might be able to share with people. So again, it's looking out for people, looking out for our colleagues, looking out for anybody in a shop. If you think that when you're out shopping, if you see somebody looking a little bit wondering where they're doing, where they are, they can't find the tea bags, or they can't find whatever it is, then can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need some help? It's just like just looking out for people, because oh, and that's happened before. A lot of times people walk out of shops with a whole basket full. They've forgotten to pay,
Mm.
and then they get the cops after them, which can be very upsetting for some people. But it's like sometimes it is literally they've forgotten the next step.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I meant to do. It's just like, what am I doing now? They just literally often forget the next steps, which is why we know that often they'll go shopping with somebody, but sometimes they don't. There is nobody to do that with.
Mm. Mm.
They can't. And so they do need that help. So so yeah, and always being, as I say, being curious and being kind, definitely being kind. But yeah, yeah. I think that's important. So again, what can we do for ourselves? Less Coke, more water, eating healthily, exercise, walking. They've said it now. It's all over the place. You walk, you can you will help yourself. You can help reduce getting illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
And if people have legs, you have, then you can.
Yeah.
It's again, unfortunately, again, that could have been taken away from some people. The how to get about. But that's why we encourage staying healthy for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Really and truly. Any questions on any of that, Gary?
No, no, that's all good.
No.
Saying that, I've got a medical tomorrow, so.
Have
But
you?
yeah, well, only the thing is sort of age related and whatever. But my doctors have contacted me to say that basically they haven't seen me for about 20 years, and they'd quite like to do a medical, sort
Yeah,
of just
you'll
in
need
case.
one. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
just
I've had some things done recently anyway. I mean, I've had tests for prostate cancer and sort of internal cancer and stuff like that. They've all come back negative, so that's good. But this is just I think a general one, which I know what happened because if they use an electronic machine, my blood pressure's always high on the electronic ones, but not the old-fashioned ones.
uh,
And then I think I've put on about £9 between going on a cruise and going to Vegas. Uh, so I shall get whinged at for being overweight, not exercising enough, and drinking too much. That'll be the situation normal.
well, there you go. Do you know what to expect?
Yeah. Well, I used to have sort of the private Bupa ones when I was in sort of when I was still in industry. And that was the same every year. You know, you do a couple of hours of it all, and that was the only thing they came up with. And until about the last one I had, which I thought was hilarious, because the doctor doing it was quite a large, sort of red-nosed ex-military guy who used to play rugby and was very much into rugby. And he was so funny. And all the others just used to give me a load of earache about you. Oh, you need to cut down your drinking, exercise more, and this, that, and the other. And he was brilliant. He just said, right. He said, we've done all the tests, we've done everything. He said, I need to look to see what they wrote up last year, and then I'll give you my summing up. And he just sort of smiled, and he said, well, last year, oh, it was every 2 years, I think. He said last time they said you didn't exercise enough, so he said so there's no change there. And he said they also said that they thought you drank a little bit much. He said you don't appear to be drinking much more than you were then, so I don't think we need to discuss that either. I thought that was brilliant.
Oh, funny. Yeah, because he probably does that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think he was
So
just more,
what's good for
far
the
more of a
goose is good
yeah.
for the gander.
I think he was just far more of a realist. You know, you know they've said this before. He hasn't changed. What's what's the point? You know.
Yeah, what else can you do? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So okay, so we know to just summing up, it's what can we do, and just noticing and get curious about people's behaviors, just opening our eyes and looking around, and always, as I say, being kind and asking people, like you just said, what how can I help you?
Yeah.
What do you need? You
Yeah,
know,
that's the key. What can I do for you? What would you like help with?
yeah, tell me, what would you like help with?
Hmm.
It's very important. I don't know how much longer you've got because you said you had to go.
Yeah, I don't want to. Well, yeah, mine starts dead on 7. I'm going to put a light on for me, and I need to chase up my guest and stuff, and just to make sure and things, and the admin things.
The admin things,
Yeah, I've
yes.
got Daniel Brown tonight. Is my guest tonight.
Oh, nice. When am I your guest?
I don't know. We haven't all got. Have we got you down? I'm not sure. I thought we had you down, or have we not yet? I don't know. I'll have to look.
I don't know, but not straight after one. Well, it could be straight after one of these, but I've finished these in November, I think,
Oh,
beginning of November.
I know I had you. I'll have a quick look on my list. I know I had you down on my list, um, but I don't know whether we actually put a date in because I know we had a topic.
So anybody watching this in the future, if you want to be a guest on Gary Coles's hypno mentoring, then you can get in touch with him.
Let's have a look. My computer's so slow today. Right.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop this recording for now while you're doing that. And there you go.